there's a lot of people out there that are just getting started. They're just starting their businesses. They see the Grant Cardones, they see the Pinedas, the Bradleys, the people that have the big followings.
Yep.
I guess I would even lump myself in there with several 100,000 followers and subscribers on each. But
yeah, definitely.
A lot of people, when they see that, they want that, but they don't know the path to get that. And a lot of people think that they just hire someone like 610 and all of a sudden, boom, they're going to have hundreds of thousands of followers. They're going to be making millions of dollars a year. But the path is really freaking slow and it's a pain in the ass and it costs a lot of money and you're going to lose in the beginning more than you make than while you're testing. And I think what would be, and I'm curious, like, I know the path I took, and I don't think it was the most efficient path to get where we are. I definitely burned a lot of money and probably a lot of gray hair getting here, doing it wrong.
You got a great set of hair, Chris. What are you talking about? There's no gray hair. Look at that.
Oh, there's a lot of gray hair. I assure you.
Oh my God. You got better hair than I do, man.
Oh, you saying I don't have any gray hair would be me saying, hey man, you look like you're 5'4". Yeah. Anyway, I think the hat's covering a lot of it. If I take
you look great.
Searching for gray, they were going to find a lot of them. But for someone that's just getting started, it's tough. They want to do it. So what would be some advice we could give to the brand new business owners? I don't care what business they're in, but they're just looking like, how do I start this process? Like, what are the things I can be doing today that will get me there in a period of time? Like, what would you say to them?
Content is king. That's what it boils down to. Like when you were talking, I kind of heard what you said about you've tried a lot of different things. You've paid a lot of money, X, Y, and Z, right? But it's kind of goes back to the digital marketing realm where it's A/B ad testing. Like you need to find your base, your client, your foundation, right? You're not going to know that right off the bat. You might have an idea what it is, but you could be totally off. And so it's all about content and posting it consistently and regularly and engaging with your base, because if there's engagement, you need to evaluate, is it a positive base? Like, are you getting positive feedback? Because positive feedback would tell you, okay, I'm on the right track. If you're getting that negative feedback, depending on how you want to look at it, because negativity, bad press is good press, right? But if you're getting that negative engagement, then that kind of might signal, hey, maybe I need to tweak something, or maybe I'm not finding that right, that, I'm almost there, but I'm not particularly there. And so it goes back to just posting regularly content, engaging, asking questions, putting putting quizzes out, on like stories, like, hey, what guest do you want to hear next on Chris's show, or so forth. Right. And so once you start to feed that, if people obviously like your show, then they're going to share it. They're more inclined to share it. There's engagement. And with the algorithm, if I like Chris's show, then it's going to pop up on my feed for all my friends. And so now you're getting in front of a whole, 3,000-4,000 people just on my personal Facebook, and so
good advice.
So it's just a matter of putting out that content that people can engage with and really noticing what that engagement is. Is it positive or negative?
I couldn't agree more. And the thing you got to understand in doing that, folks, is it takes consistent, persistent action.
Exactly.
It's going to take time. And I know a lot of people are in a big hurry to get where they're trying to go, but you got to stop and smell the roses. It's going to take some time. I remember, and man, this is going way back. I would say probably 2014 to 15, somewhere around there. And I might even be a little off on that, but how I got started is, my now wife, she was my girlfriend then. When I first met her, I didn't know anything about social media. And she's like, I can't believe you're not on Facebook, and I was like, well, I've got a profile, but I don't really use it. So she said, oh, you got to start doing this. And for your business, you should start going live. I knew none of this stuff. And I'm like, live? What do you mean live? Like, what do I do? And she showed me. So what I started doing is I just started popping on and doing lives. When I was driving, I'd put it up on this little thing, driving home from snowboarding. I'd talk about the snowboarding day. And back then, it's very different than now. You know, Facebook would really drive the algorithm. So I remember after doing this for a while, you know, and I actually turned it into a regular show. I did it twice a week. I would do it every single Friday at 6 p.m. because that was like really right when I got done and I could do a live. And then I did Sunday Flip Fun Day every single Sunday.
Yeah.
And it was almost always the same time. Yeah,
exactly.
It was consistent. I did this for years, but I'd have thousands of people on these lives. And I never tried selling anything. All I did is just taught. I just showed them what I was doing. I wasn't even any thought to it. I just turned it on. It was probably awful. I probably wasn't even very good at doing it, but I just said, hey, you know, here's why we did this. And sometimes I would like put the phone down and they couldn't even hear me. People would be like, we can't hear you. I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot. You know, no mics, no lights, nothing, just did it. But as it progressed, Facebook dialed back their algorithm and then Instagram became a thing. My wife's like, oh my God, you guys are old on Facebook. You need to come over here to Instagram. So I started doing Instagram. I didn't know the first thing about it. She had to teach me everything. I'm 45, so I'm a little old for this stuff. And then I started doing that.
I can relate. I can relate. Yeah.
But it was just, you know, it's just like always doing it. And today people are like, oh, how do you do it? I'm like, well, we do about 100 posts a day. 100 posts a day. I'm like, yeah, man, I do almost throughout the entire day. I'm always doing stories. My team's always putting stories up and photos up. It's nothing. There's no like real science to it. It's just like we just post random stuff. But every day people jump on. They want to see the story in the morning with me walking past the big tire. That's a thing in my stories in the morning, walking into my office. There's this giant workout tire that people always comment on, but it's just like that's something they relate to. And
they also have to realize, like, and we set this expectation with clients, is that you cannot get fixated on the number of likes. You know, that's big now. It's like, okay, how many people liked my, I got 27 likes or 270 likes or whatever it is, right? Whatever number it is, whether you're just first starting out or whether you're accomplished, right? You cannot get fixated on that. Like, it's about the consistency of the content. And if you continue to consistently put out that content, then the algorithm is going to put you in front. And I know we talk about this algorithm and it changes all the time. It's like Google's algorithm, right? But if you are consistent and you are constantly posting and interacting with your base, then you are going to be put into the forefront. And if you do that, and you implement paid ad spend, which that's how Facebook makes money, then you're definitely going to be put in the front, you know? And so that's just kind of the key, is just to make sure that, that you're out there consistently. And 100 times a day, you're killing it right now. I've seen it.
I'm trying, man. It's not easy, but you know, you just keep doing it. Like right now, all I'm doing is I'm just pointing the camera at Matt here on the screen, showing the studio, and people are like, oh, I wonder what that studio looks like. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
There's the studio. And that's content that people will actually watch. People like you. And that's all you do. And then I'll just basically tag Matt in it. I'll tag 610 marketing and boom. Then all of a sudden Matt gets it. He shares it around. And now I'm in front of his audience.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Nothing complicated about this.
Yeah. There's nothing complicated. It's just a matter of finding someone that understands it and can kind of navigate the waters for you, right? Like, I mean, it's even the best player. I come from obviously a sports background. I played basketball, but even the best players, the guys that I looked up to, like the Michael Jordans or the Larry Birds or the Magic Johnsons, right? The best players in the world all had what? They all had coaches, right? They all had someone to help them, guide them to greatness. You know, there was somebody that was helping Michael Jordan work out when no one else was, you know?
Grover and read the book Relentless. It was his coach.
Yeah,
the basics. Exactly. Focus on the basics. That's all he did.
Yep. And so I've been blessed to be around a lot of the greats. One of my best friends is LeBron James' trainer. And so he actually learned from Tim Grover. And he's been with Bron for 20 some years now. And so, it's just one of those things where you're not going to know everything. So find somebody a professional or an expert or a coach and help you kind of sharpen your skill set?
You know, it's interesting. This is useless piece of fact, but I was just in the Bahamas for a conference. So
Is
I'm
that where
sitting
the
there.
hat came from, Chris? Because
It's
that's an amazing hat.
totally where the hat came from. Yep. It was straight out of Bahamas, brought it home with me. But we're sitting, I had this hat on. We're sitting in a cigar bar having a cigar, and someone's like, "Isn't that Michael Jordan?" And sure enough, right there was Michael Jordan.
Wow.
He didn't stay very long, but yeah, I can officially say I was having a cigar in the same cigar bar as Michael Jordan.
Well, that's amazing. That is an amazing feat. That's an amazing accomplishment. But I heard that Mike spends he's got a house in the Bahamas from what I hear. So yeah.
And we saw his boat. It looks like his sneaker. Like his boat, his yacht literally looks like a pair of sneakers.
Got the elephant print. Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen pictures on social media. So
that's wild.
Yeah.
Wild stuff.